Melissa McCarthy's metamorphosis was one of the most stunning and inspirational in Hollywood history. Melissa is well known for her witty banter, humorous timing, and outrageous roles. But lately, people are talking about more than simply her performances, her whole metamorphosis. Melissa is drawing attention in the most positive way imaginable with her beauty and attitude. This is something you don't want to miss. Melissa Ann McCarthy was born on August 26, 1970, in Plainfield, Illinois, a modest town distant from the red carpets and brilliant lights of Hollywood. Growing up in a typical Catholic home on a working family farm with her brothers, she was instilled with the work ethic, humility, and family values that would serve as the foundation for her remarkable career. The lady who would go on to become one of America's most adored and prosperous comedy actresses was shaped in part by the loving, secure foundation her parents, Sandra and Michael McCarthy, gave. Melissa grew up on a farm, surrounded by open landscapes, everyday tasks, and the kind of close-knit family ties that are becoming less common in today's hectic society. She learned from her rural childhood how important it is to remember her origins and maintain a connection to them. No matter how well-known or prosperous she becomes, it's a common misconception that humor and entertainment skills are inherited from the McCarthy family. Melissa's performance aptitude is a true family affair, as she is the cousin of model and actress Jenny McCarthy. Given her family ties to the entertainment industry, Melissa's innate sense of humor and her capacity to engage audiences may have been ingrained in her from birth. Melissa's family tree is a rich cultural mix of American immigrant families who built their lives through hard work, perseverance, and an unwavering faith in the American dream. Her roots can be traced back to County Cork, Ireland, with some German and English ancestry mixed in. Melissa began her academic journey at Southern Illinois University Carbondale after graduating from Joliet, Illinois' St. Francis Academy, currently known as Joliet Catholic Academy. In addition to academic success, the Catholic education she received placed a strong emphasis on moral responsibility, community involvement, and treating people with respect and kindness. But for someone with Melissa's innate abilities and inventiveness, the lure of comedy and performance would quickly be too great to ignore. The thrilling, unpredictable world of entertainment that pulled to her artistic soul was simply too much for the secure, predictable route of graduating from college and settling into a standard employment. By all accounts, the path from small-town farm girl to Hollywood star was neither quick, glamorous, or simple. Melissa began at the absolute bottom of the entertainment industry, just like innumerable other ambitious artists before and after her, working the demanding Los Angeles stand-up comedy scene. These were difficult times, with many late nights spent performing for audiences that weren't always open, encouraging, or considerate to new artists attempting to discover their voice in tiny, frequently deserted rooms. She subsequently moved to New York City, which is regarded as the comedy center of the world, after acquiring some useful experience in the Los Angeles comedy scene. Compared to her experiences on the West Coast, the New York comedy scene was both more difficult and possibly more gratifying. Night after night, she had to prove herself in front of some of the nation's most discriminating, challenging, and informed audiences. The Groundlings, the renowned Los Angeles-based improvisational and sketch comedy group, were the catalyst for her career breakthrough. Over the decades, this organization has been a springboard for innumerable comic talents, featuring other individuals who later appeared in major Hollywood productions and joined Saturday Night Live. With the kind of passion and commitment that instantly distinguished her from other hopeful artists, Melissa plunged herself into the cooperative, creative setting. She had rigorous and thorough training at the Groundlings, which included writing, character development, comedy performance, and the vital skill of being able to think rapidly on your feet during live performances. These abilities served as the cornerstone of Melissa's subsequent professional accomplishments, enabling her to infuse each character she would eventually play with nuance and genuineness. Fans who are only familiar with Melissa's mainstream work may be surprised to learn that she investigated a totally unanticipated and different aspect of performance art while she was living in New York City. She performed as a drag queen and even made an appearance at the renowned Wigstock Festival under the imaginative stage name Miss Y. Despite being very different from her subsequent mainstream Hollywood success, this experience helped her cultivate the bold, unrestrained style of comedy and performance that would become her defining characteristic. As of right now, Melissa is 54 years old, and her amazing range and unwavering dedication to her profession continue to amaze, entertain, and inspire audiences worldwide. After more than 20 years in the business, her recent appearance on Saturday Night Live exemplifies why she is still at the top of her game when it comes to comedy. Melissa stole the show with a parking spot battle sketch that had viewers talking for days after it took place. The show was celebrating Martin Short's induction into the coveted Five Timers Club, an honor she already holds, making her part of an extremely exclusive group of performers. Melissa, who played Martin Short's wife in the iconic comedy, gave a performance that was both outrageous and masterfully written. Social media platforms were inundated with appreciation from fans and fellow artists as she spit iced coffee against a car window, wiped it off with her shirt, and acted out numerous phony threats with such complete dedication and impeccable comedic timing. Instagram and Twitter were inundated with comments from viewers who praised Melissa McCarthy's performance and said it was likely the funniest thing that has happened on Saturday Night Live in years. Everything that makes Melissa unique as a performer was on display in this specific performance. Her capacity to discover true human truth in even the most ridiculous circumstances, her flawless timing, and her readiness to devote herself all to physical humor. It served as a reminder to everyone of why she has stayed popular, relevant, and in demand over the course of her career. Throughout her career, Melissa has consistently displayed this type of bold, perceptive physical humor. From her breakthrough performance as the endearing, quirky, and Sookie St. James on the popular Gilmore Girls television series to her role as the lead in the popular sitcom Mike and Molly. Every character she has played has benefited from her warmth, sincere humor, and total authenticity. Though not without its own set of difficulties, her rise from television success to major motion picture stardom happened organically. She proved to the world that she was prepared for main parts in big-budget Hollywood movies with her standout performance as Megan in Bridesmaids. Following this breakthrough, she starred with Sandra Bullock in The Heat, co-wrote Tammy with her husband, co-wrote Identity Thief with Jason Bateman, and starred in the controversial but adored Ghostbusters reboot. Most recently, she voiced Ursula in Disney's live-action adaptation of The Little Mermaid. Melissa's indisputable comic ability isn't the only thing that sets her apart in the entertainment business. It's her genuineness, relatability, and extraordinary bravery, particularly when it comes to talking about body image, accepting oneself, and the unattainable expectations society, especially Hollywood, places on women. Her weight and appearance have been the subject of inquiries, remarks, and outright insults throughout her career that would never be aimed at male performers of comparable success and stature, no matter what. While boldly pointing out the glaring double standards in the entertainment world, she has handled these improper and frequently harsh situations with extraordinary grace. One especially upsetting and wholly unsuitable instance happened when a male journalist continuously made derogatory remarks about her weight and girth during what should have been a standard promotional interview. Asking if she was surprised that she genuinely works in this industry at her enormous size, the interviewer repeatedly returned to the same offensive theme, demonstrating a startling lack of professionalism and basic human decency. In interviews afterwards, Melissa described how the blood drained from her face during this extremely awkward and degrading interaction. She kept her cool and kept the conversation focused on her work, the script, and her collaboration with directors and other performers despite the shock and hurt she was feeling. Their producer came up to Melissa as soon as the interview was over to apologize, telling her that the inappropriate remarks would never be broadcast and that they were very sorry for what had happened. However, Melissa experienced this kind of treatment on a regular basis. Over her career, it had been all too familiar. She has publicly and candidly discussed how women in the entertainment industry frequently face this type of inappropriate questioning. whereas male actors with comparable or even larger body types are rarely, if ever, the target of the same degree of scrutiny, criticism, or outright cruelty regarding their physical appearance. At a significant press conference, she was constantly questioned by a journalist from a prominent media outlet about why she felt the need to be so hideous in her movie parts. This was another very painful and well-publicized episode. About 100 people, including fellow journalists, publicists, and business experts, witnessed this attack. She looked untidy, had unkempt hair, wore too little makeup, and was too loud and violent in her performances, according to the questioner, who also critiqued her acting choices. Melissa's reaction to this humiliation in public was cool-headed and incredibly successful. He would never ask a male actor in a similar position these kinds of questions. She pointed out softly, but forcefully. She clarified that she was only depicting characters that were based on actual people who live in the world, and she advised him to go out more if he didn't believe that these ladies were real and deserving of being represented. Melissa has become a more vocal and forceful supporter of body acceptance, realistic portrayal in Hollywood, and treating all artists equally regardless of their physical appearance as a result of these challenging and frequently unpleasant experiences. She has brought attention to situations that many people would rather ignore or act as though don't exist by using her success and platform. Regarding the particular difficulties she has encountered in locating fashion designers that are ready to make clothes for her for important occasions like award shows, red carpet appearances, and film premieres, she has been surprisingly forthright and honest. She approached 5 or 6 highly esteemed, globally recognized designers who frequently make custom gowns for A-list celebrities 2 Academy Awards seasons ago, and each and every one of them turned her down. Budgetary constraints, creative disagreements, or scheduling issues were not the reasons for this rejection. She didn't match their limited idea of who should wear their works, that's all. Melissa became vocal about the irritating restrictions imposed on women who don't fit the mold of the fashion business as a result of this systemic rejection from the industry. She has explained how, in some sizes, the clothing that was available appeared to be made like harps with holes in them, with everything resembling conservative mother-of-the-bride clothes that was meant to conceal rather than to celebrate or compliment the wearer. She seldom ever found anything that she truly loved or felt comfortable wearing. Rather than a rubbish bag, she had to make do with things that were just on. Millions of women worldwide can identify with this pragmatic yet dismal approach to fashion. Melissa made the decision to take matters into her own hands and contribute to the solution in reaction to these discouraging restrictions and discrimination that exists throughout the industry. She started creating clothing for the well-known plus-size fashion retailer Lane Bryant before launching her own full-fledged fashion line, Melissa McCarthy 77, in 2015. She had a straightforward but impactful reason for going into the fashion business. If 70% of American women wear a size 14 or larger, why should they be made to feel inferior, unfashionable, or compelled to wear subpar clothing? The fashion industry's constant disregard for and alienation of its largest prospective customer base struck her as both odd and economically stupid. Melissa is still working on new fashion ideas and partnerships, even though the 77 collection is no longer being produced. She knows the difficulty of wanting to wear trendy, modern clothes that fit well, feel comfortable, and make the wearer feel beautiful and confident because she has personally experienced every shape and size throughout her adult life. Here's the problem, though. Many people are unaware of how early Melissa's complicated connection with weight and body image started, as it regrettably does for a great number of women and girls. With the perspective that only time and experience can provide, she now looks back on her adolescence and sees that, despite being a perfectly healthy size 6 and an active high school cheerleader who participated in gymnastics, tennis, and other sports, she was always concerned about her weight. An athletic, fit, and lively young woman who was obviously in outstanding physical condition is depicted in old photos from this era. However, she recalls this period as being characterized by uneasiness and self-doubt regarding her appearance. After she moved to Los Angeles and joined the Groundlings comedy troupe, she started to gain a lot of weight, which would later become a topic of public discussion. She used to walk vast distances on a daily basis and have an active lifestyle, but now she spends much of her time indoors, attending meetings, and sitting in cars. She also stopped eating the delicious, home-cooked meals she had grown up with in favor of manufactured, convenient items. She put on about 25 pounds during this time. She didn't really understand what was happening until it had become apparent, because the transformation happened so gradually. Melissa experimented with many methods for managing her weight, exercise, and health in the years that followed. Piloxing, a cutting-edge workout regimen that blends the aerobic benefits of boxing with the core-strengthening benefits of Pilates, helped her lose 30 pounds in 2011. She worked closely with martial arts teachers to get in shape for the combat scenes in the 2015 action comedy Spy, which was a physically demanding role. After obtaining the role that would define her career as Sookie on Gilmore Girls, she adopted one of the most dramatic strategies. She lost 70 pounds during the 4 months she followed a doctor-supervised all-liquid diet. Even while this produced quick results, Melissa has been upfront about the fact that it wasn't healthful or sustainable. She would never suggest this method to others and felt famished and insane half the time. Melissa has lately lost over 75 pounds over a number of years, but her strategy is now a lot more sustainable and well-rounded. She is focused on choosing healthier foods and increasing her regular physical exercise instead of attempting drastic limitations or drastic tactics. Melissa has responded with her usual groundedness when questioned about her tactics. She once jokingly said that leading a very dull life, going to bed early, abstaining from excessive indulgence, and upholding regular, healthful routines were her secrets. Most significantly, Melissa's spoken and gested shows a responsible attitude toward health as Shohei's regularity over Shohei displays. Most significantly, Melissa has learned to quit stressing over her weight in ways that were emotionally damaging. She has publicly discussed her deliberate resolve to quit obsessing over the scale, to stop overanalyzing every meal choice, and to stop taking a strict and punishing stance toward fitness and health. Her ability to sustain a better lifestyle over time has been greatly aided by this mental change. She was able to make decisions based on what made her feel good rather than what met other people's expectations after shedding the guilt, anxiety, and continual self-monitoring that had previously defined her relationship with food and exercise. Her approach to raising her 2 teenage children, Vivian and Georgette, with her husband and frequent partner Ben Falcone, is naturally consistent with this healthier perspective. As a mother, Melissa is adamant about setting a good example for her daughters by modeling healthy attitudes and actions instead of concentrating on appearance, weight, or meeting social norms for beauty. The McCarthy-Falcone family keeps their kitchen well-stocked with wholesome homemade dishes, such as vegetable soups which they cook together. They prioritize healthy, fresh products and steer clear of processed foods. But they also keep a healthy balance that permits exceptional occasions and sweets without shame or guilt. Above all, Melissa has stated unequivocally that she does not want her daughters to have body dissatisfaction or poor self-image problems. She has stated that she would rather be struck in the face than have her kids feel self-conscious about their looks. She acknowledges that comparing oneself to the small portion of the population that satisfies Hollywood's conventional beauty standards is causing an epidemic of girls and women to feel inadequate. She is committed to helping her girls gain self-acceptance and confidence in order to end this cycle in her own family. Regarding Melissa's future path, she is still more concerned with improving her health and well-being than she is with reaching a particular score on a scale. Her dedication to long-term wellness and her adjustments in lifestyle have been refreshingly transparent with her admirers. Melissa has played a significant role in pushing the frontiers of representation and acceptability in the entertainment industry, which is still evolving. The tenacious Illinois country girl who began performing stand-up in tiny bars has grown into a significant force for good in Hollywood and beyond. How do you feel about Melissa's path thus far? Please share your thoughts in the comments section and remember to like and subscribe for more amazing and motivating stories.